Hello guys, I'm Arshad, Department of Social Work in RJNUD. Today I am discuss about the topic is social research process. Major steps is social work is a systematic procedure to seek explanation to unexplained social phenomena to clarify the doubtful and micro serious fact. It is a scientific process to discover few facts or to verify old facts in attempt to explain the causal relationship of a phenomena. Therefore, research is aimed at the generating concept and theories and reliable explanation. Social research involves the following steps. 11 steps is there are many kind of area. The first one is social research sorry section of research problem. Second is review of related literature. Third is formulation of research objectives. Fourth is devising hypothesis, marketing and research design methodology. Six is sampling procedures. Seventh, data collection. Eighth is data analysis and interpretation. Ninth is hypothesis testing. Tenth, devising finds, conclusion and suggestions. 11 is report writing. First one is selection of research problem. A research problem is simply the topic of the research. Selection of the research problem involves selecting a broad area and then narrowing it down to a specific topic. For example, a researcher may select a broad area for his research, such as domestic violence. He splits this broad area into a number of the sub areas to selecting one sub area for from the as the topic for his research. For instance, for the broad area, domestic violence can be split into the following subject areas. First one is case of the domestic violence, impact of the domestic violence on family, impact of the domestic violence children, service available to victim of the domestic violence. Next is the extent of the domestic violence in a society. Review of related literature. The next step is to study available literature on the topic. All the previously done work on the topic, including research. This is research papers, books, report, and publications. The purpose of the reviewing the related literature is first point is to understand various aspects of the topic, to understand the nature of the work done on the topic, to identify research gaps, to make a theoretical background for the study. Next is to have a theoretical background for the analysis of the few findings of your research. Third one is formulation of the research objectives. Objectives are the aims of the research. The research wanted to explore these aims through the research. The simply way to make objectives is to first make questions that what do you want to explore in relation to that topic, and then convert the questions into the objectives. For example, you select the impact of the domestic violence on children as your research topic is. You can raise the following questions about this topic. For example, what is the impact of domestic violence on the emotional development of a children? How domestic violence affect the children academically performance, and that kind of questions. Another step is devising hypothesis. A hypothesis is the testable assumption showing a relationship among certain variable of the research. It is a logical relationship and it's relevant to the theme of the research. The purpose of the devising hypothesis is to confirm the reject some fact which the researcher assumed to be true or false in relation to be the research. Before a researcher devices or some hypothesis and tests them with the help the data collection to establish certain facts. Fifth one is making research design. The research design is a simply a plan for research. It outlines the methods and procedure used in the research. It tells how the researcher want to conduct the research. It's included in the following: which methodology will be used, which tool of the data collection will be used, who will be respond the how many response, how will be the collect data analyzed, which test will be used to verify hypothesis or the facts. That's all. Another one is a sampling procedure. Sampling procedure means selecting a part of the population for the research study. It is difficult for a researcher to study all the population of an area due to limited resources such as time, money, and energy. And a smaller part of the population is selected for the research study. The number of the total response in a sampling is known as the sampling size. The sampling size can vary depending upon the nature of the study. Another main step is a data collection. After making a good research design, the researchers start some kind of collection that for the research data is collected according to the technique reflect in the research design of the study. The collected is used by the researcher to derive the ultimate finding of the study. That is major thing. Next is data analysis and interpretation. The collected data is analyzed to generate findings. Before analyzing the data, it is prepared for analysis, which involve data editing and data coding. Data editing means checking the collected data for error or missing information and correcting the accordingly. There are different ways for treating the problem of missing values, such as by simply excluding the missing values for analyzing. Using means value for the missing value and so on. Data coding means scaling the variable in the data so that they can be measured. Various scaling method may be used, such as nominal scaling, ordinal scaling, or interval scaling, where the response categories for the questions are assigned certain numbers. Next is hypothesis testing. Hypotheses are tested in the light of the analyzed data. For example, we have a hypothesis that higher the priority in society, higher will be the crime, the relation between poverty and crime rate in an area can be verified or rejected in the light of the analyzed data. Next, deriving findings, conclusion, and suggestions. Data analysis generates the finding of the study which confirm the facts. The first part of the research to derive a conclusion based on the findings of the study. The conclusions are finally inferences regarding what larger picture can be seen in the light of the finding of the study. Last one is report writing. Report writing is after completing research, the researcher has to write a research report, generally known as the thesis or the dissertation. At the each step of the research, the researcher generally write the different parts. For example, basic concept, literature studies, methodology, finding, suggestions. For example, that type kind of the research. However, in the end of all this part, the complete into combined diseases. The purpose of the rating disease report is to give a proper shape to the research and bring it into the presentable from the audience of the research. The widely using format of the research report is also preliminary pages, for example, title page, abstract, table of the content, some that kind of. Mainly bodies introduction, literature review, research design, data analysis and interpretation, findings and suggestions, and closing pages, biography and reference. That's all. Thank you watching my video. That's all.